If you asked anyone wandering through the bustling Okiri market where to find the sweetest and most carefully chosen fruits in the entire city of Nukira, they would all point to a modest wooden stall tucked away at the far end of a noisy street. It stood under a weathered canopy of faded fabric, its posts leaning slightly, yet there was something about it that drew people like bees to nectar. The air around it carried the fragrance of sun-kissed pineapples, juicy pawpaws and mangoes that glowed like pieces of gold. If you looked closely, you'd find her there, a young woman named Amy's Nokocha. She was striking in her quiet way, her dark skin glowing with resilience, her eyes soft yet brimming with strength. Her smile had a warmth that seemed to rise before the sun itself, a smile that could make even the most troubled soul pause. Amy's life had not been easy. Years ago, a tragic road accident stole one of her legs and nearly claimed her life. She had been just 16 when a commercial bus she rode in was crushed on its way back home. That day shattered the dreams of many passengers, but Amy survived. The survival came with scars, pain, and an artificial limb that made walking an everyday trial. Yet, despite all this, she never allowed despair to rule her. Each dawn before the first rooster crowed, Amise made her way to the market with the help of a battered silver crutch and sheer determination. She never asked for pity. She never complained. Instead, she greeted life with grace and a cheerfulness that astonished everyone who met her. Amise had learned a rare truth early on. Gratitude can bloom even in broken places. Her stall wasn't just about fruit. It was about dignity. Every pineapple she polished, every mango she sorted, carried care. To Amise, bruised fruit was an insult, not because of its price, but because she believed everything she sold should reflect the dignity of those who received it. Her reputation wasn't just for the sweetness of her produce. People came back because of her laughter, her warmth, and her uncanny ability to make anyone feel seen. Amise gave freely to barefoot children with dusty brows, to worn-out mothers with babies strapped to their backs, to widows who barely scraped by. She would often hand a banana or a slice of mango to a shy child and whisper, "Take this. Tell your mother someone thought of her today." Even the hardened traders, men and women weathered by years of competition, admired her. They whispered that Amise had been touched by something divine. The way she smiled despite her hardships, the way she helped even when she had so little herself, it felt almost miraculous. One particular morning, as she wiped down her neatly arranged fruits with a damp cloth, Amise noticed a stranger standing at a distance. He looked out of place. Unlike most shoppers, he carried nothing, bought nothing, and spoke to no one. His clothes were dusty, his shirt sagged loosely over his frame, his sandals were frayed at the edges. Yet it wasn't his appearance that caught Ami's attention. It was his eyes, bright, intelligent, and piercing, yet shadowed by something heavy. Sorrow? Weariness? She couldn't tell. She didn't call out to him. Years in the market had taught her that some people came seeking more than food. Some came searching for hope, for a reason to keep walking. After a while, the stranger hesitated, then walked toward her stall. Up close, Amy saw the quiet desperation on his face, the way his posture carried both dignity and need. His voice when he spoke was soft. "Good day, Ma. I'm sorry to disturb you. I haven't eaten today. If there's anything you could spare." Amise met his gaze without judgment. She reached for a small bowl, filled it with slices of mango and watermelon, and handed it to him. "You don't need to apologize," she said gently. "Hunger is not a crime." He accepted the fruit as though it were made of glass, his hands trembling slightly. He's a civil engineering graduate, bright, serious, and looking for an opportunity. The engineer studied him for a moment, then extended his hand. "Graduate, you say?" "Yes, sir. First-class honors from Nkisi University." "I've been searching for work for 2 years," Obina replied, voice firm despite his nerves. "Any field experience? Only during my industrial training, but I'm willing to learn, to work overtime. I just need a chance." The engineer tapped his chin thoughtfully. "We've got a project outside the city. We're short-handed. It's mostly supervision and reporting. If you can prove yourself, maybe we'll keep you on. Bring your CVs to my office on Monday." For a moment, Obina could only stare. "Are you Offering me a job? Call it a trial, the man said with a shrug. Emmy's eyes shone. Obina's voice faltered. Thank you, he whispered. Truly thank you. He turned to Amy's, emotion raw on his face. I don't know what I've done to deserve this. Amy squeezed his hand gently. You've done nothing wrong. The world is just slow to recognize good people sometimes. What Amy's didn't know, what no one in the market could have guessed, was that Obina was not who he claimed to be. He was in fact Prince Obina Ahrens, the only son of the President of the Republic, sent undercover to investigate corruption in government-funded road projects. He had chosen to disguise himself as a poor job seeker to see the truth for himself. Obina had witnessed indifference and cruelty across many towns. In every market, people had turned him away. But Amy's had been different. She gave freely, not knowing his title or wealth, and that shook him to his core. Monday arrived with a sweltering sun. Dust clung to the air as Obina stood outside the construction company office with his resume, wearing a freshly ironed shirt tucked into his worn trousers. He borrowed a pair of shoes 2 sizes too small, but he didn't mind. His heart pounded with determination. Inside, Engineer Oaksey, the man from the market, scanned his CV. Impressive. You graduated top of your class. We need someone to monitor deliveries and write daily reports. It's not glamorous. Hot sun, stubborn laborers. Think you can handle that? I've seen worse, Obina said calmly. Engineer Oaksey chuckled. I believe you. Be on site tomorrow at dawn. The next morning, Obina was already on site before sunrise. The work site was a partially built highway linking 2 rural communities. From the outside, it looked like progress. But Obina's sharp eyes caught details others ignored. Cement bags past expiry dates, steel rods rusted to their cores, substandard materials meant to line the government's pockets. He took discreet photographs, wrote coded notes, and sent encrypted messages to the presidential office. Every discovery sickened him. These shortcuts endangered lives. The bitter irony wasn't lost on him. The same company that gave him a chance was among the worst offenders. And yet, through it all, his mind kept returning to Amy's. Would she feel betrayed if she learned the truth? Would she think he had used her? 2 weeks passed. Each day, no matter how exhausted or dusty, Obina came back to the market after work. He and Amy's talked, laughed, and sometimes just sat in silence. Their bond deepened, unspoken but undeniable. Then came the Friday that would change everything. Amy's was arranging her papas when she heard his voice. She looked up and saw him wearing a clean white shirt tucked into charcoal trousers, his beard neatly trimmed. His eyes held a strange mixture of nerves and resolve. I need to tell you something, he said quietly. Concern flickered across her face. Is everything all right? Better than all right, he replied. Then, before she could ask more, he stepped into the center of the market, dropped to one knee, and pulled out a small velvet box. Gasps erupted all around. Amy's, his voice rang clear. I came to this market undercover looking for corruption, but instead I found you. You saw me when no one else did. You helped me when you thought I had nothing. I have walked in palaces and eaten from golden plates, but I have never known joy like I feel with you. I love you. Will you marry me? Amy's world spun. Tears welled in her eyes. I don't understand, she whispered. You're just a site assistant. How can you afford this? Obina stood. He raised his hand and clapped 3 times. A convoy of black SUVs rolled into the market, security men fanning out. Gasps turned to screams as people recognized the presidential insignia. My name is Prince Obina Ahrens, he announced, son of the president. I came here to investigate corruption, but I found something more precious than all the contracts in this nation. I found a woman whose kindness redefined my life. Tears streamed down Amy's cheeks. The market erupted in applause and cheers. Yes, she whispered, finally finding her voice. Yes, I'll marry you. The crowd roared with joy as Obina slipped the ring on her finger. In that moment, Amy's didn't see flashing cameras or guards. She saw the man who once sat beside her stall, shared her fruit, and treated her not as broken but whole. Your true value is never measured by wealth, titles, or physical perfection. It's defined by the kindness you give when no one is watching. Amy's life teaches us that love does not seek perfection. It seeks authenticity. Even the smallest acts of compassion can ripple farther than we can ever imagine. So, no matter how little you think you have, your kindness might just change someone's destiny and maybe even your own.